It's great if you could learn from your own mistakes. The idea is you don't want to make the same mistake again, and hopefully you'll get better over time. Now, if you can learn from other people's mistakes, that's even better. Over the past couple weeks, I've been able to chat with some side hustlers, Nick Loper, Shane Myers, and Dave Young. And I asked each one of those guys about mistakes that they've made as they started their side hustle, as they grew their side hustle into a full-time gig. By the way, I'm Doug Cunnington. I talk about Amazon affiliate marketing and productivity. So if you're new to the channel, have a look around, watch some of the other videos, and if you like what you see, please consider subscribing. So let's hear from the guys now. So with that business, I'm just curious, like with that business, did you get a lot of traffic from like SEO, or was it coming from ads or somewhere?
It was primarily driven through AdWords and Bing, which used to be even like Yahoo and Overture like back in the day. And so it was heavily reliant on paid traffic, where probably one of the failure points was that I've failed to reinvest that profit from the pay-per-click stuff into SEO. And so never really got a lot of organic love. And maybe that would have given the business a little more staying power.
How long was it around then?
From 2004 in its very earliest stages to 2014 was when the kind of shut it down and focused on the Side Hustle Nation stuff as the primary focus.
You have been doing this a while. I expect that you probably made a few mistakes. I know I've made tons of mistakes. I still make them. They're just much bigger now. So do you have a need to share? Maybe you could help folks avoid some mistakes if they're getting started.
Absolutely. So when you first get started in reselling, one of the biggest mistakes that resellers make is comparing themselves to someone else's business. I mean, I can show you, pull up my eBay account and show you that I've had several weeks where I've done $1,000 in sales in 1 week, but you can't compare yourself to that when you're first starting out. A lot of resellers like to do that when they first start out. I want those numbers, but realistically, you're just going to be chasing someone else's business. You got to make it work for you.
I think that probably translates to like most any business model, because it's really hard. Like you do want to compare yourself to someone who's been doing it for 13 years, It's pretty hard to jump in on day 2 and do that. So,
and what helps me out a lot in the aspect of retail arbitrage, like going into retail stores, is I did retail management for 9 years and also held corporate level jobs in retail management. So really for me, like retail arbitrage, I know how stores ticket their clearance. I know a lot of information that no one else would know for that. So that really gives me kind of a leg up a little bit.
You did mention the knee scooter thing, but do you have any other mistakes that you could share maybe from one of the launches? I know launches can really be hard to work with. A lot of moving pieces, a lot of failure points. Anything to share?
We haven't done a ton of launches because right now my course is evergreen. And now actually the future courses, we're kind of taking more of an evergreen approach. We're launching it. So the first time we launched it, it was almost more of like a beta, even though we didn't say it was a beta. We opened it for 3 days and closed it, and we wanted to get some feedback. The feedback we got was, we needed to tweak the structure of the course a little bit. We kind of got like lukewarm feedback on it, it kind of stinks at first. You're like, oh, we failed. But, hey, you got to like figure it out and redo it and come back. And also the guy I was working with on that course. So part of my strategy is partnering with other experts in the drone industry and them kind of creating the curriculum and us producing and distributing the content. And there's a profit share there. So so I wouldn't say that was a big failure, but that was something, we're like learning to work through and the guy who created it is a good friend of mine, Alex. He's great at what he does, but, like us working together, figuring out how to launch, the perfect course. So we came out with another course later on drone photography, and that was much more well received because we had already gotten the feedback from the first course. I did a few more things differently on my end. So I read through, oh my goodness, why am I? Jeff Walker's product launch formula stuff, tried out some of those techniques, and that seemed to work a lot better. And we had some better results with that. People enjoyed the course a lot more, kind of better numbers. But I think the failures, if you will, not so much around launching, but when I first started, I didn't really know what I was doing when I guess you would say launched. You know what? Actually, let me rewind. I do have a good failure story for you. When I first started my business period, and I had worked for months and months and months on putting this course together. Like I said, I was at Starbucks till 2 o'clock in the morning. I was taking days off of work to go film at this guy's house to get it all together. I probably spent, $20,000 on editing and animations and equipment and software and all this stuff. And just like, I'm in my basement with a drop cloth behind me, like, and I bought some lights. I'm like filming these videos in my basement. I mean, you can't tell it's my basement when you're watching it, but basement of my townhouse in Virginia. So I'm like, I have my whole like heart and soul invested in this, right? And one of my competitors had launched a similar course. I know him, he's a good guy, and he's got good products, so I'm not surprised. But he had been building up a list for the previous 2 years, and he had a blog, so he had 50,000 people on his list. He launched, and he was selling his course for $300, and he, within maybe a month or a few months, had over 1,000 people that had taken his course. And I'm like, that's like, that's $3 million. Oh my gosh, I'm going to be a millionaire. I just immediately like imparted his success on me, right? Like, oh, this is going to be great. So I had these huge, my head just like, oh, you got huge. And I thought, oh, I'm going to launch to a list and I'm going to be a millionaire, which was a horrible way to think. And so I was like, all right, I got to get a list. So I went out and I bought the brand new, whatever the newest drone was like a Phantom 4 by DJI. I bought it. I did a drone giveaway. I did the whole, if you share this, you get an extra entry thing. So it kind of, the viral share, even though I've learned that those are not your best customers a lot of times, they just want free stuff. So I got an email list cobbled together of about 4,000 people from that drone giveaway. And I thought, I'm going to launch this and it's going to explode, right? So when I was about to launch, I knew nothing about internet marketing, email list, how to work an email list, how to do any of that, build a relationship. I thought, well, if I email them, people are going to start unsubscribing. So I want to hit them with the sale right away. You know what I mean? And the guy I was working with is like, I don't know, I would maybe shoot out a couple emails to like let them get to know you. I'm like, no, forget that. You just got to go right for the jugular. And so the first email, I'm like, basically, hey, I'm David. We put this course together, buy this course. And the full price was like $300, just matching the other guy. But a limited time discount, we'll give it to you for $100. Maybe I listed it for $250, I don't remember. Well, I launched and I like sat back and I was like, all right, here we go, And one sale trickled in, and then maybe a couple hours later, another sale trickled in, and I launched another email out, and literally that was it. I made 2 sales at $99. So I invested, I don't know, I spent $1,400 on a drone. And all this time and money, and my revenue so far was $200 to show for it. And oh my gosh, I was like really depressed. I was really bummed out. And I recorded videos from that time too, because I was like, I'm just going to document how terrible this is. So I've watched a couple of those since then to remind myself. And it was like, well, that didn't go like I planned. So back to the drawing board. And yeah, no, it was tough. That was a tough couple of weeks. I was just like pretty down about that. So
Man,
had to figure out how to balance.
That is rough. And I know you've gone through Ramit's launch course. I haven't gone through that one, but you made so many cardinal mistakes there. He'd smack you in the back of the head.
Oh, I know, right? I know. It was terrible. I'm looking back now, like the things, and I'm not like some super pro now, but just the things I know and I've learned, I'm just like, oh, I was just such an idiot. Like I just didn't know what I was doing, But hey, that's how you learn, right?
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's important to point out, like, you're doing really well now, but look at all the different ventures and ups and downs that you had. It's always a roller coaster. I think a lot of people miss that. They just see the highlight reel from people. So
right. No, yeah, it was 8 years of different side hustle ideas, maybe 6. Yeah, 6 years of side hustle ideas before one landed, And I remember even at one point I probably made $30,000 off of that first the Squarespace thing. And then I remember I watched a video back the other day. I was watching some of the stuff from before, and I was like, well, I just spent the last, $500 in my account to hire somebody to help me with this. Let's hope this goes well. So I was literally down to nothing. I mean, I still had my full-time job, so I wasn't in a total panic. I still had money coming in. But I mean, as far as my savings, I had just drained it all, and it was and then it had flopped, and I was just like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. At that point I thought, maybe this is another, knee scooter thing. And it's just, and after you've invested months of work, it's just such a horrible feeling.
Thanks for checking out the highlights from the interviews. So if you want to watch the full interviews with Nick, Shane, and Dave, be sure to check out the links below. Thanks a lot to those guys, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks.